charcoal tomorrow morning. We'll prepare another charcoal, we'll wrap it up, and we'll put it in a bag with the National Treaty Fire pipe that I carry, and tomorrow morning we'll be wrapping that up. And if there's anyone in any territory, organization, tribal area that wishes to have the next national treaty fireplace invited to their territory, please say something this afternoon before we break up. If you're inviting it, let us know. And how we do the protocol there is 6 prints, all primary colors. We don't use black. That's what the elders told me when we started. Although black is a significant color for many of our tribes. 6 primary colors. Purple for the fire bundle. Those are prints that will be used when we are delivering the fireplace to the next national treaty fire. Tobacco. 4 pouches of tobacco. No, 5 pouches of tobacco. We put that in the bag so that when the time comes that the tribal area is starting their fireplace, the fire bundle will be delivered to your territory. And in the meantime, I keep the fire bundle. I do seasonal sweats and blessings on the fire bundle. I don't open it, but we have the bundle sitting on top of the sweat lodge that the blessing is happening for that season. Fall, winter, spring, and the last one is at the location of the next fireplace. So if someone in your territory is thinking about it, inviting the fireplace to your territory, don't forget fire is a spirit, and he'll bless your community. He'll bless your people. He's looked after us for thousands of years. So if you wish to ask for that blessing for your territory, please let us know. Hi, nanaskumit na miigwech. Hi.
Thank you, EJ, and good morning to everybody. It's a tremendous start to our day today with the ladies, grandmothers, giving us the blessing. At this time, I want to recognize 2 Grand Chiefs, and I want to honor you, and I want to invite you to the podium. Grand Chief Sheila North Wilson, if you could bring us some greetings from MKO. At the same time, I want to invite Grand Chief Francis Kavanaugh. If you're in here, my eyesight is not very good. From Treaty 3. Grand Chief Sheila North Wilson, of course, is the Grand Chief for the Manitoba Kiiwetinogimakaanak and represents approximately how many chiefs? 30. Here she is. Welcome.
Danse, good morning. Minugisa tabe, gamina minosik askia berutiak, ebe ana mutama kitige gona. Niminen teniste hatnawa berutiana lust. Nina askumona ya gina gamutik gamina agia mehatik iskwewak. Kila tamiskatnoga kelona bewak iskwewak. Kietiatisak, skatisak. I'm thankful to be here this morning and to wake up with everyone else and be thankful that of where we are at this time and place. And I bring greetings from the 30 First Nations that elected me. Well, I guess not all of them, but almost all of them. 30 First Nations a year ago on Friday it will be. And the 30 Manitoba, Kiwi, Tanawi, Okimakanak, and the councillors, the chief and council, voted their first female Grand Chief a year ago at the end of the week. So I'm very proud of them. And a number of them are here this morning. I know that they've had like 3 meetings that they've been called to, and some of them are splitting their time here and there. So I want to acknowledge all the MKO chiefs that are here and the council and members. And of course, our friends at AMC and SCO and friends from across this country, including Mushkegowuk from Northern Ontario, Grand Chief Jonathan Solomon, and Regional Chief Kevin Hart, all my friends, all my relatives. It was funny, this morning I went to the gym, and who walks in? My first cousin walks in from Cross Lake, Bemidjigamak Cree Nation, so we had a good laugh about that. But as I came in here, I could feel the energy and feel the power of our people. And when our elders spoke, it just invigorated even more so of that feeling and reminding us of who we are and what we're supposed to be doing. I can honestly say that there are many challenges in my territory right now, lots of potential of loss of jobs and loss of industry. But I also look at it as opportunity, because we have the opportunity to take over what's been taken apart by industry. And that's what I'm working on. That's the premise I'm working on, and walking forward with the chiefs and the councils and the technicians that know what to do, and the elders, because our elders and our people knew how to take care of the land. And I know that if I follow their lead, we'll be okay. And I truly believe that. And I don't want anyone to feel sorry for us, because I think we have a great opportunity here, and I'm really working towards that and positive that we're going to be okay in a good way. But I want to thank you again. I represent a territory that has about 72,000 people. We have the Ojai Cree, the Dene, and of course the Cree. So I bring greetings from there and from my mom and dad and my family from Bonbonabee Cree Nation.
Thank you very much, Grand Chief. Yesterday we had over 229 registered participants, and to me that speaks volumes in terms of treaty protection, treaty enhancement, treaty education. I want to provide you with a very condensed version of what was discussed yesterday. Some of the recommendations that we picked out from the dialogue that happened. And number one, in following our protocols, we did our pipe ceremony, our horse ceremony, our invocation and our drum songs, which tells us that the sacredness of treaties to honor our ancestors who made treaty. That is important. We were also told by our elders that unity is important. Unity is what is going to be the driving force as we move forward into the future. We were also reminded that women must be included in all structures that we create. It is part of our building process to involve women. Number four, traditional knowledge keepers must be identified for each treaty area. That the Turtle Lodge will host the first meeting of the spiritual caretakers to seek out our ancestors and higher power for direction on what we must do. Okay, we need to go for guidance from our spiritual caretakers. Number five, the importance of sovereignty and nationhood is important. We need to continue to have that discussion. and stewardship for land, water, air, and all elements is important. We need to take our responsibility that we were given for stewardship. Number 6, the youth. The importance of decolonization and detoxification is important. We need to decolonize. We need to detoxify. And that we need to rebuild ourselves in our families, our communities, and within our nations. We need to prepare ourselves as parents. We were told by the youth that parenthood is nationhood. And indeed, it was a powerful message that we received from Colby Tatusis. And at the same time, while we talk, that there is a Facebook page known as Treaty Talks. And you can, those that have access to Facebook, you can follow on some of this treaty discussion on that. There is also a number of websites that we can link you to, but we need to have your email, and that is why it's important that we continue to ask you to register so you can provide us with your email, that we can follow up with the recommendations that are made, and as well as with some of the minutes. And our elder, Wally Swain, has gone back to his home community. He's beginning with his Sundance, I believe, ceremony will start today. So we have that as well, too, that's happening this weekend. At this time, we would like to call upon Regina Crowchild to walk us through her presentation. And we'd asked Regina yesterday if she would defer to this morning. So at this time, I call on Regina to provide for us some of the things that are happening further west into the Treaty 7, into Alberta territory. Miigwech.
Good morning, elders, chiefs, peoples from Treaties 1 to 11. I have to, first of all, I want to acknowledge our pipe holders, the prayers that were said this morning, you know, lifting up the pipe and saying prayers, and the ladies, the grandmothers that came here to say a prayer. It is through those prayers that our people survived. We've heard so many stories about how Canada tried to do away with us. And if it was not for those prayers, we won't be here. So I'm very grateful. We are a spiritual people, and we must continue to do that. Also the drums, the victory song. We have to celebrate our victory that we are still here on the land that our Creator gave us, that put us here. And we are stewards of this land, that we must protect it for the benefit of our peoples today, tomorrow, and in the future. That's our responsibility as citizens of our nations. So I'm thankful for that. And I'm also very thankful that yesterday when we looked, even though, you know, when we went through the people that were here, this is the first time that there was representation from each of the treaty areas. The international treaties with the Imperial Crown. So I'm very thankful for that. And I commend you for that because of your interest. And like our elders say, the only way we're going to move forward is to be united. And collectively, we will find a solution for us, for the betterment of our peoples and our children and our grandchildren and the children yet unborn. That's our responsibility. I was asked by the coordinators, and I want to thank the coordinators for giving me this opportunity to share some of my thoughts, as well to bring greetings from our community. My Indian name is Natuikuk. Nitsikenak. Yarkniketsini tapi saksiwa. I've been very fortunate. I was born a blood Indian woman. I know my ways, who I am, what my history is. Thank you to my father, my grandparents, and to the elders. And I traveled across the province of Alberta from north to south, meeting with elders and the chiefs from 1990 to 94. As well, I attended all treaty meetings as much as possible, because that was something that my father left with me, a responsibility, because the treaty meant so much to him. And he always said, the only way our people are going to survive is to enforce or implement treaty, get Canada to take responsibility for the promises under treaty, and for what they're responsible for our peoples. And our land is most important. So I've always kept that. I've always traveled with that, kept it in mind. So I've always attended Treaty 1 to 11. And that's why I'm saying, or any discussions that affect treaty or impact our treaties, because that's our responsibility. And I know our Creator, with the prayers and that, He will continue to ensure that we stay our peoples, the identity of our people survive on this Turtle Island. So I want to thank you for all being here, and we have our friends here, our non-Indigenous friends, who have been very helpful. And I want to thank also our co-chairs. They've been co-chairing many meetings to try and insist that make sure that there's some consistency in the talks that we have. But when I came here, or last week, I was asked if I would coordinate the discussions or facilitate the discussions dealing with restoring First Nation governments and disengaging from the Indian Act. So I thought, okay, I will try, and that's what I told Louis Harper, I will try. So this is why I'm here at this podium. But first of all, before we get into that, I want to give an overview of where we are as Indigenous peoples, where our treaties are with Canada. So, and then I would also like, after my overview, I would like the chiefs and the peoples to getting involved in the discussions. We cannot just stand here and talk to you. You are treaty peoples, you need to participate and share your ideas. We need a plan on how we're going to move forward. This is the first government that at least intended or made promises to our peoples. Many promises that we've been waiting for. They've been in government for a year. They're going to be campaigning in the next couple of years. So time is of the essence that we move forward and do what we need to do as treaty peoples to ensure that our treaties are implemented, to restore our nationhood and our sovereignty. If we go back to the beginning of, or before treaty, the Indigenous peoples of this land, of Turtle Island, had sovereignty. Our peoples acted within their own right, within their own authority as derived from our Creator. We had complete jurisdiction over all matters that pertain to our peoples, our lands, and our territories. We had the ability to enter into treaty with other nations on Turtle Island. So when the time came, as nations, we were able to enter into treaty with the Imperial Crown. We had collective rights. Our peoples looked at our lands and they said, this belongs to our peoples, whether they're Cree, Dakota peoples, Tsuut'ina, the Blackfeet, those nations, they belong to those people. We are stewards of those lands. We were to protect it, Mother Earth, because Mother Earth provided us with our livelihood. From the Royal Proclamation, they said, the Crown said, you cannot access any lands without getting into an agreement or a treaty with the peoples that live there. So if you look at Treaties 1 to 11 that extend from Ontario, Treaty 3, Treaty 9, to the Rocky Mountains, northern BC, into the territories, Treaties 1 to 11 cover 54% of the land mass of Turtle Island. That's where our people's territory is. Canada is lucky that our peoples entered into treaty. And our peoples entered into treaty with a good intention, with the survival of their peoples. When I speak about jurisdiction, they decided who their citizens were. They had complete jurisdiction over their citizens. They had their societies, their ceremonies. They took care of the education of their peoples. People hunted. Everybody had a role to play. And that was for the survival of their peoples. They had an exclusive jurisdiction over the lands, over the air, the water,